Yo! What is good, everybody? How y'all doing out there? Happy Friday. Happy Friday. It is Feedback Friday. We're getting started just a little bit late today, but it should be a good show. I've just walked back in the door a few minutes ago from cheering on a whole bunch of grade schoolers running around their school as many times as they possibly could in a short amount of time as a fundraiser. So, apologies in advance if, like, halfway through the show, my voice suddenly just cuts out and I go completely hoarse. Because I did a lot of yelling over the last couple of hours. And my hands are, like, still kind of raw and tingly from clapping the entire time. Man, cheerleading is hard work. Happy Friday, everybody. Happy Friday. Hope you're all doing well out there. Hope you're all feeling inspired. Ready to listen to some good stuff from the community. It's our favorite day of the week. Yes, we are live. All right, let's see. Who is here? Tompa's here. Hey, you're first. Welcome in, brother. Welcome in. Happy Friday to you. Visor Music is here. How you doing? Olivia, you are here. Welcome in. Big love, boo. Synthra, welcome in. Happy Friday to you. Always good to have you in the mix. Ricky Akimbo, you are here as well. Excellent. I will mark you right on time. Never tardy. Nobody useful. You are incredibly useful here, sir. Who else is here? Transient Pan. Hey! Hey, Ricky. How you doing, man? Happy Friday to you. Always good to have you in the mix. Hope you're doing well over there. Cynthia says, I think I've made some really good progress on my mixes since I last saw you. Really excited to show you what I've got working. Nice. Nice. I'm looking forward to that. 80 Cup is here. Welcome in, brother. Liv is dancing with the Pokemon over there. Pikachu. Tomba saying, man, Twitch does not want to load properly today. I know Twitch has been acting a little strangely lately. But you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. The Anti-Jerks, welcome in. Oh, a different account for you guys today. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. Made a really quick beat for the intro. Sorry for the repetitive nature of it. It was really simple. It was very easy to put together in a couple of minutes. What do I have in regards to announcements? We are starting a little bit late today. I recognize that we will run late, so we will have just as much party time. Fear not. We'll run until probably a good, like, 3 p.m. Pacific, something like that. We'll run for a few hours. Announcements. We do have fresh sounds up in the Discord for subscribers to the Twitch channel. So if you find yourself currently subscribed to the Twitch channel, make sure that you have your Twitch and Discord profiles connected and that you hit the subscriber rewards channel in the Discord to gather your free sounds. This month is a pack called Modular Clouds. It's a bunch of really awesome modular synth loops made by yours truly, and you can mess with those in your own projects. It's quite good. It's a pack that we have not given away in like 5 years or something like that, so it's been a minute. All right. Ooh. Transient Pants saying, I loved it. I was thinking, man, it would be fun to make something like this song. Well, let me show you how I cooked it up really quick. If there's interest, it's worth showing. All right, so super simple, actually. First thing on the list is a little beat. This one's pretty kind of minimal in nature. It's just being processed in interesting ways. If I take off the granular delay, a little more straightforward. All right, next up in the mix here, let me close off these, close down these windows here. Next up in the mix is just a little metaphysical function, of course, because it's something that I just made, so it's probably going to have metaphysical function in it. Pretty simple. Pretty simple. I've got it moving around. A little tremolo. Give it a little space. Noise. This one is TG8H. It's yet another one of the forks of the T... I forget how it all started at this point, honestly. The TB1 maybe, something like that. It's changed over the years. Evolved. And then there's an iteration of New School, which is right here. And that one sounds like this, and it's running through Molecular as well. And if we turn off that, we end up losing a whole bunch of the weird glitchy stuff. All right, so that's how that was made. Shall we listen to you guys? It's Friday. It's Feedback Friday, you guys. Yeah! Awesome. Let's do that. Ooh, Ricky Akimbo was saying, was listening to Self-Titled by Madonna and Queen today. Corollas, welcome in. Happy Friday. It's been a minute. Hey, hi. Just gonna lurk for some time. Maybe I share something too. Not sure yet. All right. Well, if you do, I'm looking forward to it. Ricky saying the standouts were "Think of Me" by Madonna and "The March of the Black Queen" by Queen. Interesting. Interesting. I'm gonna check that out. Maybe put a link in the Discord or in the chat or something so I don't lose track of that. That'd be awesome. Okay, let's cut off this noise in the background and see what you guys have put together on Twitch, or I mean on Discord today. Don't forget about your free sounds. If you are currently subscribed, hit that subscriber rewards channel and go grab your free sound pack. It's worth it. All right, clicking into free or public feedback. We did not have a stream last week, so there will be, or a Feedback Friday stream last week, so there will be probably a couple things in here. I see Adicop has got one in here from last week, and I'm absolutely going to play that because I'm sure it's dope. So there's also this new kind of thing trending on Feedback Fridays where if you are sharing your project in video form, we'll play it back. We'll play it back. And as long as we can kind of maintain trust with each other as we're going through all of this, we'll keep playing them live because I think it's a really neat thing. It gives us so much more insight into what is actually occurring in the project. And I can actually point to things, like if you randomly open up an EQ while playback is occurring, and I notice something that is, in my opinion, a bit wonky or something differently than how I would do it, then I'll point it out. I'll say something. So it just helps us find a little bit more context in the moment. So if you're into it, we'll engage with it. All right, shall we? Let me just turn off the noise in the background here. Make sure all my reactors are off. Some of them just sit there and spin noise out all by themselves. Okay. 80 cop. Let's do it, shall we? This one is Resurrection. Can I go full screen directly from this little widget? I think I can. I think I can. Oh, and let me change my output over here. Make sure you guys get audio on everything today. All right, here we go. This one is Resurrection from Adicop. Yo, Adicop, this is really neat. I have a couple things here in my notes, but mostly I just have a couple of thoughts to share about this one. Just kind of like the intrinsic, I guess, overall value of this one from like a commercial aspect, because there's some interesting, really like friendly things happening in this song. Okay, so first there's a little crunchiness in the music itself that sounds like it's maybe um, like a little bit too bright and crunchy in a couple of spots, and a responsive EQ or some multiband compression at the end of the project to kind of help control that would probably be a good choice. There's a drum fill that hits just before about a minute or so. I felt like that can have a little bit of saturation on it, so we can get a little bit more tonality out of the drums there. But the bigger thing I want to speak to, I think that the song is really well made. The arrangement is very nice. The mix is a little bit driven and loud in spots, so we could back off the loudness just a little bit. Um, but most importantly, I feel like there's this kind of super cute, kind of friendly uh, tone, uh, character to the majority of the sounds in this palette. Um, that doesn't always happen in this type of music. So uh, you have the ability to, I guess, kind of sell this to more brands out there. If you are not putting your stuff into some sort of a portfolio yet, it might be worth considering, because I can imagine a whole bunch of different types of um, like videos that would use really upbeat, left of center electronic music like this. And the more kind of cute sounds that it has, the more likely it is that it could actually be used in larger campaigns and stuff, which could be like really meaningful income when it happens. So, um, yeah, just a couple of things to touch on, right? One is just that the palette itself is really nice. I think that if you're looking to kind of embellish this type of sound design in your work moving forward in any way, I would suggest spending a little bit of time adding very small and discrete little envelope and LFO modulations around your synth patches to help them be just a little bit more expressive and open a little bit differently as they're delivered over time. Oftentimes, that just means a couple of LFOs being used as extra modulators for other modulators in your synth programming. And that can really unlock things over time, because you end up finding these unexpected little extra sparkles or wiggles or thumps or whatever in the music. And those things really stand out with a palette like this. So, really love the character of this one, really love the kind of playful, upbeat nature of it. Um, but more than anything, I think that this type of palette of sounds that you're cooking with on this one has a kind of commercial uh, value to it in the licensing world. So your LFOs are really fast. It is giving it a crispy vibe. I like it. I think that there's kind of this effervescent kind of nature to it. Um, yeah, yeah. It's a good kind of like fresh and kind of trending kind of sound, even though I'm not hearing a lot of stuff like this out there. But it's got that kind of energy to it. You know what I mean? It's colorful. I like it. Something good. How you doing, homie? Welcome in. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. And thank you. 80 Cup, thank you as well. Yeah. Um, I was also hearing some clicking in there, like some poppy clicking, and I wasn't sure where that was coming from. Um, I have a feeling that something on my end might have been doing it, because I'm looking at this meter here and I'm seeing something load up on this one channel. So I'm just going to turn off a couple of things and see what it might be. Oh, there it is. Maybe. That was a big one. Okay. Well, anyway, hopefully I'm not causing any kind of crackle in your all's music. Shall we step into the next track? AD's got a new one called Holding On here. All right, I've got my screen sorted over here. Let's do this.
See, I know a thing or two about heartbreak. Remember looking at the tears on my mom's face as they glisten in the moonlight, and God say, boy, you fucked up really bad, so you can't say that you deserve a place in heaven. Now the reverend has reserved a place in hell for you. Cause I picked up weapons and I get freaking hurting all these little press cause they get to stepping up to me and my friend. They had a little bit of beer on their breath, and so we felt threatened, so we picked up weapons and showed them the image of a damn big stepper. We was in our backyard, and knowing nobody was even trying to act hard. We was drunk as fuck, because our daddies had us fooling like some dumb as fuck little ass bastards. I seen them on top of the man who just got done making me hot pockets, and then I went crazy and pulled out a blade, and I got the saucing like my name was Shady, yeah, my ass was crazy. And then I got arrested, thought the message is do the best for your best friends. But he also got arrested, I tested the law, you should never test them, I keep holding on to the things that I love, yeah, I'm holding strong. I keep holding on to the things that I love, I'm holding strong. I stop holding on to the things that I love, gotta go and get strong. I quit holding on to the things that I love, gotta go get strong. And so I thought that I would live in prison cause a guy tried to pick a fight with all his friends right beside. Were they in my life? I didn't know cause I didn't know them bitches. I was living with PTSD cause of all the shit my dad did to my bestie. Raped her in a sin, that shit went and wrecked me. And on top of that, he beat me for relief. He was trying to act hard, he was young and dumb. I don't remember nothing except blood under my thumb. And I felt a lot of shame like an idiot, when I should've blamed his mom cause he fucking dumb. And I should've blamed my friend, old as my pops. And he put me up in danger, should've got gone. And I started to pop off when it got hot. No heat, he had his Glock lost. When you lay down with the dogs, you gon' get some fleas on you. They'll think that you a dog and treat you like garbage. My advice to little bro, let go instead of holding on. I keep holding on to the things that I love, yeah, I'm holding strong. I keep holding on to the things that I love, I'm holding strong. I stop holding on to the things that I love, gotta go and get strong. I quit holding on to the things that I love, gotta go get strong. I keep holding on to the things that I love, yeah, I'm holding strong. I keep holding on to the things that I love, I'm holding strong. I stop holding on to the things that I love.
Yo, AD, I think this one's really good. I think that the mix needs a bit of work. There's a few different things happening. One, your sub bass is triggering the compression. And it feels like it's on a master out, so everything is being affected by it. So I would keep that separate, and just don't even put it through that processing chain. I'd also bring the sub down a bit. That should relinquish the kind of top-down compression that we're hearing on everything. Wanting a little bit more dimension to the vocals in general. So if you create a little bit more distance, a little more separation between the main vocal and the backing vocal, that will help. And then also a shared reverb, that those two can kind of enjoy, like put them in the same space and room. I think that's the other thing that's missing. When the main vocal goes off to the right channel, there's a couple of things happening here. One, it feels pretty isolated, like the reverb channel that it's running through needs to be stereo, or perhaps the the pan pot isn't in a stereo mode. Regardless, you do want to take down the lowest frequencies on the sides in that channel. And I would just do that with a shelf, and it would just look something like this. Well, I would also probably put in a fairly aggressive low-end cut. And then that way, we're not feeling like there's this drag that's happening. It kind of compounds with the other low-end elements in the mix at that point. But having something like this and then just putting that in on just the sides would really help, I think. All right, what else do we have here in the feedback for you? I guess in general, there's this feeling of nostalgia to the mix, but I don't feel the nostalgia in the, I guess, kind of final processing. So I personally, I would find a type of saturation that you really, really enjoy texture-wise, and age this thing just a little bit more. Give it a little bit more kind of surface texture to the whole thing. That's it. I really like this vibe. It's a really good one. Ad Rocky, hey, are you okay after the accident? You like sent pictures of yourself in, I'm assuming this was like inside an ambulance. Man. You uploaded the wrong version. It's all good, bro. You can always send me like a more current version in a DM over the week, and I'll check it out for you. Ricky, dude, I hope you didn't get horribly smashed. You got a broken leg and ribs. So were you like a passenger in a car, and what happened? Man, I'm glad you're okay. It sucks that you have broken bones over there, but man, I'm really glad you're okay. And that you're like still just, you did not stop producing. I feel like you hit pause, you got into a wreck, you hit unpause, and you just kind of keep going. You were a passenger. You had a head-on collision. Oh my God, dude, that's scary. That's scary. Where are you in the world? Where do you dwell? It's just a flesh wound. Ain't nobody holding you down. All right, brother. Well, I'm sending good vibes your way. I'm so glad that you are okay. Ricky Akimbo. It is you. Ooh, Ticket to Ride. Baton Rouge, okay. Yeah, I'm glad you're okay, dude. All right, Ricky, let's roll. Ticket to Ride.
This is your ticket to ride. I took the chains off for real this time. I left my ID right in the fire. Come on. I took the car keys, I'm ready to drive. Now I'm gonna take my time, because tonight I've got a ticket to ride now, baby. I've got wings to fly, and you won't catch me on the ground. I'll never leave the sky again.
Yo, Ricky, this is fantastic. So there's one thing that kind of stands out to me as something that I would like to hear just a little bit more of, and that's this active accenting, I guess, on the vocals. So this would be a really simple operation. You're going to pick your favorite saturation or excitement, your favorite exciter, something that adds just a very subtle and kind of nuanced, transparent bit of drive, not anything really gritty, okay? And you're going to give that thing a very small range of operation. And then you're going to hit record on this track and you're going to listen to it in real time. And as you're feeling that the delivery of one syllable over another should be accented, you just give it just a tiny little twist, right? So it's a very subtle thing, but this is like, and it's going to write, your automation track is going to look like, right, like subtle gibberish, basically. There's going to be tons and tons of little breakpoints in there as it records, and that's totally fine. But I think that just hearing that kind of expansion of presence as the words are being delivered over time, I think that's kind of the only missing thing that I'm hearing here, because the music and the lyrics and even your delivery, all of it is going up together, but there is this kind of extra little bit of something, this extra room that can be filled. So record it with actual knob turning. Don't record or don't just like click it in there. Yeah, I'm just reading through the chat comments here. Yeah, this one is resonating with Ad Rocky for sure. Nice. Um, I felt like the guitar tone in this was super solid, super solid. I think your mix has become very tight, very good. Uh, oh, the hi hat. Okay, so the level that the hi hat is at right now, I feel like it is the peak volume. So I would probably, and this one you can totally just use point and click with mouse. Just go in and create without making any changes to volume. I would just make a little breakpoint at each peak that you feel is like a really good moment to have an accent in. And then go back, like hit pause after you're all done, right? And make a couple breakpoints on either side of each one of those, and then just bring all of that down in tandem and leave those original breakpoints at their original peak point. Just bring everything else down just a bit in tandem. And then that'll give you this nice kind of active dynamic relationship with the hi-hat as it's being delivered. I think that would be a really nice little addition. This one sounds so good. I can tell that you've spent a ton of time dialing in details. It's really good. It's really good. Twitch sucks. Freezing every 4 seconds. Oh my goodness. Let me look here. I don't see anything wrong here. Hopefully you guys aren't out there. Ricky, really good track. Really good stuff. Tomba. This one's for you. It says some techno stuff I've been on with for 20 minutes this week. Excellent. This one's called Downfall. Roku Sai! How you doing, brother? Roku Sai here saying The Midnight is awesome live. Yeah, dude. What was your favorite part? I would love for you to share some details in the chat as we're listening to stuff. Ricky, I can tell that you love this song. There is the feeling of, it's a passionate endeavor. I can tell. It's just Twitch being Twitch. Okay. Ooh, the favorite part is yes. Okay, cool. Tomba, let's do this. Ooh. That's not how you spell Turger, is it? That's not right either. How do I've forgotten how to spell Turger. It needs more body support and movement baked in. All right, I'll talk through that because that's hard to type out. This idea that I'm trying to get across. Okay, one, I think that this idea is great and you should flesh it out because I love the vibe in general. Two, the quality of the synths themselves is really great. The first two that you're playing around with are just consistently great. At 119, when this new synth comes into the mix, I feel like it is lacking some of the vibrancy and presence that is just so simple, like it's coming very easily to the others in the mix. So there's a distinct distance between these synths, and I think we need to make up that distance. Everything else that I'm hearing in this right now is absolutely working, and it's going in the right direction. I'm curious as to what's going to be the thing in this one. Like, what's going to be this palette of sounds that you're working with right now leaves me feeling like there's going to be some sort of surprising shift in pitch or timbre or something from one of the drops. There's an anticipatory kind of feel to some of this. Cowbell? It's just a cowbell. Gotta respect the gazelle. Thank you so much, Ricky. I so appreciate you. Always good to have you here. Oh man, even more. Yay! Thank you so much, Ricky. I appreciate you, man. Everyone who just received a new sub, first, if it's your first time, welcome. And second, go ahead and run on over to the Discord. I will put that in the chat right now. And I will actually pin that for you as well. Go over to the Discord and make sure that your Twitch and your Discord profiles are actually connected, and then click into the subscriber rewards channel and grab your free sound pack. It is a really awesome pack called Modular Clouds. It's one that we haven't given away in at least 4, maybe 5 years, and it's really great. Modular synth loops. It's lovely stuff. Oh, it was Valorant. I thought Ricky did both those. I appreciate you, Valorant. Thank you very much. And I appreciate you too, Ricky. Happy Friday, everybody. The Valorant. Everybody loves Feedback Friday. All right, Synthra. Dude, Tomba, I want to hear more of this. This one from Synthra is called Taken. I like this. This mirror tree effect here. This is dope. You know what? I'm going to click out of here because we've somehow lost the time stamp in the SoundCloud widget on Discord. So it's making it hard for me to make notes. Oof, man. Yowza. Hey, what do we have here? Oh, we got a batter up emote. Choo-choo. There you go, guys. Thank you so much for the hype train. Appreciate you guys. I agree with you, Tomba. I was just about to say there's so many more things that I would like to write in here. But they're all so like subtle and nuanced and fleeting. There's a ton going on in this mix, and I hope that whatever you do from this point forward, you aren't going in and making too many changes. I do think that you have everything that you need in the arrangement window already. It's probably a matter now of what can you carve away or embellish in ways that can increase the excitement or interest or help us focus or whatever it is that you're trying to do in each moment. But specifically, the synth that comes in at 41 seconds, I think this guy wants a little more high-end excitement, and you can even go with something pretty extreme, like maybe a diode distortion, but just dial in just a tiny bit, and make sure that you're using an EQ on that channel to make focus the attention on the frequencies that you want to affect. 127. This perk track is great. I also think that it's a bit underrepresented. There are moments where I would love to hear it get bumped 6 dB louder, just like boom, boom, maybe 2 notes, and then it's back down to its normal. But I also was thinking that it'd be great to hear pitch play at the same time. So I think that, again, kind of like the feedback from a couple of tracks ago, I think that in a situation like this, it's better to use recorded automation rather than point and click automation. You're just going to go to more extreme states than you would with a mouse, and that's really what it is. 203 here too. I think that there's just an opportunity for you to bring in 1 delay, maybe 2 delays, and really actually add this really wild polyrhythmic ramp up of excitement that just comes to a hard stop at some point. Really nice stank face moment at 232. I feel like the instances of stank face increase as time goes in this track. But I do agree with Tomba that there is room for some active pitch play in a couple of spots there on the snare and the perk. Yeah, little tweaks where it counts. Jeremy G. Viking, welcome in. Ricky, Trance in Your Pants, saying those vocals slipping are so good. Also saying this is disgusting in the best way possible. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Corolla's saying very cool track, although for personally I miss deeper low end a lot, and Synthra is so good at low end as far as I know. I was expecting some crazy low end work from you. Yeah, this one felt a little bit more not constrained or withheld, but more controlled. But I think that that's good. That's good. I think that what I would do personally is I would find a few key moments in this and really go ham on the low end in a couple of spots. You know, part of the greatness about sub presence in a really dynamic mix is restraint and choosing which moments you're going to go all in with your sub channel. And if you use it well, you know, you really only need a couple of spots. If you've got it in a bunch of spots, it's going to lose impact. But in a track like this, I think you probably could. You could find 2 spots where you just kind of open it up and go to 11, as they say. All right. Anything else in the chat needs to stand out? Yeah, kind of accentuate the groove with volume automation in the drums. Yep. That's exactly what I'm thinking. Synth saying, I did have the idea of adding a twinkly piano melody in the breakdown, almost in the same style as Cohen sound, just to accent the emotional impact I'm going for. Yeah. That really resonates with me. I would love to hear that. I would really like that. Synthra going on to say, yeah, I'm a little underwhelmed with my bass sound design in this track, as I know I can make much more complex, gritty sounds, but at the same time, I'm quite happy with how it sounds. Yeah, no, I think, you know, there's much like anything in the deep end of the pool, you can use it as a utility, or you can use it more creatively as an effect. But I think that it's staying in its lane is really good for this track. And I think that if it were to become more complex or more needy in any way, it's going to distract our attention and our appreciation, our engagement with the other elements completely. And I don't think it would be appropriate for this track. But I do think that you have the chance to like do a couple of nice swells somewhere. All right, that's it. That's what I got for you on this one. Yeah, Corolla's saying, hey, I think I was just expecting that as you have crazy bass in many of your tracks. Yeah. Cynthia's saying, yeah, it's been a nice reminder that I don't have to have insane neuro basses in every single song I make. Yeah, no, it's true. And you know, as you kind of like mature over time in your music making and your producing tendencies, you know, I think you'll have a very wide range of styles that you can kind of draw from. In regards to how you manage your low end and how much you lean on it for overall impact. I think you've been growing in great ways. I really do. Rokusai says, I like the simplicity of the respaces as you have them. All I do is use a dynamic EQ with automation to play with the balance of the sound in certain moments just to stick to the palette. Yeah, absolutely. I would be very minimal with that. Tomba's saying, best thing I learned so far about producing is that mixing is absolutely everything. Yeah, you know, and what's really funny is that like a good 90% of the mixing happens in the first minute or so of your time spent on each track in your project, right? It's pan position, right? And it's your static volume level. And then whatever basic EQ that you put into play, and that usually all happens in pretty quick succession, right? But those are the big things, and yeah, position and presence, absolutely. Tomba, it can be hard to take your own advice, right? Yeah. Jeremy G. Viking saying, I feel like the sustained bass you're using did the job for the track. May not have been complicated, but it was still nasty. Yeah, Corolla's saying, yeah, man, mixing is the major thing for sure. Rokusai says, I'll go even further. Tomba, arrangement is your mix. Microphone placement, aka volume and panning, is EQ. Yeah, I was just having this conversation with Paul the other day. You guys know him better as what is he? The Bard. Oh my gosh, I've spaced his Twitch handle. Why am I doing that? That's terrible. I am the rabbit hole, says Rokusai. All right, let's jump back. Let's keep moving forward. Trance in your pants, Ricky. This one is called One. Oh, you know what? I'm going to take this one out of Discord as well, because I would like to know what time to put on my notes here. I should probably use my logged in account for this, because they're probably going to give us ads soon. Turtles are awesome. I love turtles. Um, dude, this is fantastic. I really, really like this track. Um, I think this has just all the potential in the world. I really do. It's got really good quality, um, all the way around. I think the palette is awesome. Your arrangement is solid. But more than anything, it's the subtle change over time and the continuity of the different lines that we're following. That really kind of sell me on this one. Okay, so 121, the little stabs on the side. I feel like they want a little more processing to tuck them into the mix. Right now, they feel like they're sitting on top, kind of a bit apart from the rest of the sounds. So compression to tamp down those peaks and help it kind of find its kind of gel. 218. The hats can have a little modulation on them heading into this first change up and maybe get started like 30 seconds before and let us follow the change. Still thinking the same at 315. So I feel like maybe the real fix here is the hats have two automation lanes running. One is filter and one is pitch, and they're just super subtle fluctuations. And it's just to kind of lessen the overall impact of the the kind of white noise being at that static volume position. 450. The hand drum is awesome. I want it to move around the stereo spectrum a little bit. Let it roam on like maybe a 3 or a 10 bar cycle, something like that. So it's a little off from the 4 bar routine. And even better if the LFO is not straightforward, right? If it's not just like a triangle or something. It was a really good one. I like this. I really like this one. It's good stuff. Don't about this ARP needs some movement like that. Well, it evolved really nice. That. Yeah, I think the track evolved nicely as well. I would agree with that. Absolutely. Don't forget, if you were one of the lucky recipients of those gift subs that were floating around a few minutes ago, make sure that you go grab your free sound pack from the Discord. If you are a music maker, you will probably appreciate having those in your arsenal. Imbue, the anti-jerks. Welcome back. This one is called Crawwall? Craywall? I'm going to take this one out of Discord too. It was good hearing you, Ricky. All right, here we go. Ooh. Ooh. Yo, okay. This is I like this a lot. The noise in the beginning was really fantastic. At 40 seconds in this first section, it'd be great to have it's probably just one just rawr, nice low end kind of growly swell, kind of a precursor to what's coming, some foreshadowing. At 107, the sub is bringing a bit of conflict to the mix. I think it's timing and intent mostly that's kind of causing this conflict. So I would ask you two things. What is the intention of the sub bass in that moment, and what role is it playing in accomplishing that? I would also say if you can listen to it and be really descriptive with your words in your head or out loud if you're talking to yourself, if you're talking through this, which helps sometimes. What is it that you like and do not like about this? I felt like the sub, my personal feelings were that it didn't have as much character as the rest of the sounds in the mix, and that when it was hitting, it wasn't reinforcing what was there. It was trying to kind of do its own thing, kind of operate between these other things in the mix, and perhaps it was to help it stand out a little bit more. But to me, I feel like in this track, uh, maybe the sub is better served to be more of an enhancement or like an accenting agent in this, aside from when you really want something to just really stand out and dominate. Like I was saying, like around 40 seconds, where you might introduce like a swell or something where, it might just overwhelm everything else for just a moment. Um, 150, I think there's some creative carving you can do in this section. It's kind of the busiest part of the mix, and you can hear that there's a lot of low and mid-low elements active at the same time in the mix. So I would say uh, that one thing you can do is be more bold and a bit more forward in how you are addressing things with your EQ, carving out more room from one sound or more frequencies from one sound to make room for another sound to shine a little bit more in the mix, using filters to carve out a whole bunch of frequencies in a sound to let a couple others shine. You can do it in a couple of different ways, but I do believe that this is the spot where you get creative, and I think that some of it will be, uh, again with this word, but bold. Like maybe it's some active gating where it's actually cutting away from the sound in a repetitive way. It's helping to disclose other sounds, and it's also bringing some sort of kind of lockstep excitement with the music itself, right? So not just thinking in those engineering terms of like, oh, does this need to be quieter or louder or whatever, but just more like, how can this be more engaged with the music itself, right? Um, so I think that there's a few different ways in which you could go about carving away at some stuff here, but I do think that it needs to happen because when you've got 3 to 5 things that all have some shared kind of lower frequencies in them, it's just going to mess with the density and the clarity of the mix in general. So try to get that down to 1 or 2 elements at one time, popping off in those lowest frequencies. Um, really dig this. I really like the noise in the beginning. It's a really good way to open it. Hmm. Man, this this face from Xenoterra. Let's see here. WNB's here. Welcome in. Let's see. Yeah, Tomba saying this track got attitude. Granular needs to be more relaxed in certain spots to set a groove or maintain it, rather. WMB saying, I'm late. I could have finally submitted that orchestral. You still can. We're running late because we started late, so don't you even worry about it. Go ahead and toss it in there. Get it in there. Get yourself heard today. We started up the stream 90 minutes late because I was at my kids' school cheering on a whole bunch of grade schoolers as they were running laps. So, for a fundraiser. And now, it's Feedback Friday. So get yourself heard. That's what I say. Oh, I'm just reading the chat. On the other hand, I'm Jesus the producer, so I don't need feedback. WB saying, I actually got great harsh feedback the other day. Proper reading. Nice. Nice. The Anti-Jerk says, we'll get on with your tips tomorrow. Thank you very much, like always. Oh, of course. Absolutely. And no worries. Samsung Orange Ringtone. Happy Friday. It's always good to see you, my friend. Welcome in. Yeah, Ricky's saying, man, I like that track a lot. I would agree. I really liked it as well. I like the Anti-Jerks in general. I like what they do. I think there's been a really steady, a very steady path of level ups for you guys. How long has it been? Has it been like a couple years now that you guys have been coming around in here? It's been a minute. Oh, Samsung, thank you so much. I appreciate that. My birthday it's a continuation. It's a continuation because my birthday was actually last week, but we did not do a Feedback Friday stream last week. So I punted it to this week. And gotta respect the gazelle. Thank you so much, Ricky. I appreciate you, man. If you are one of the lucky folks, Gazelle, respect Gazelle. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate you. If you are one of the, how many have you given? Like 15 today or something like that. If you are one of the people, and also Valorant, thank you as well. I appreciate you as well. I just saw that it was actually two of you again in cahoots. Anyway, everyone who's just received gift subs today, go grab your free sound pack. If you don't know how to do that, go hit the Discord. There's a link pinned in the chat right now. When you get there, make sure that your Twitch and your Discord profiles are connected. Just use the same email. And click into subscriber rewards and download that sound pack. It's great. It's a whole bunch of modular synth loops, and they are heady and atmospheric and awesome. Visor, I appreciate you too, homie. All right, Imbue, that's what I got for you today. Cthulhu's. Ooh, man. This is Zenful, huh? All right, Nuclear Apocalypse. Unfinished. I mean, the irony of the nuclear apocalypse being an unfinished work in progress is just so great. I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. All right. Here comes some tear out. Let's do it. Yes. Ooh, look at this skull. Look at this.
Murdering now. Son, me no play no girl too.
Okay, dude, this was great. It's a full-on assault to the senses. I think it's a super dope bass. There's a desire for a little bit more in a couple of ways in this. Um, it's hard, right? When you're making music that is so huge because you can't actually stack it all together at once and achieve something this big, right? A lot of the stuff has to be done individually and then you bring it all together in the end. There's kind of a level of embellishment that I think you still have room for in regards to how you're treating your effects channels. I think that if you wanted to, you could take a, several of your effects channels and bust them out to one sum that you can then manipulate and mass in very simple ways, but that you can affect the mix very greatly, like in a very nimble way by just automating something on one item in your mix and having it affect the entirety of like all of the processing, for instance, like the time-based processing or something. And then that what that would allow you to do is clean your mix in very quick fashion. Um, right? You're backing off of things, making them more dry. It creates less dimension, but at the same time, you're very much calling attention to the fact that you have created something that is much, much bigger than life. So anyway, just kind of saying that there are actually some pretty simple ways to go about doing some of these things here. 129, I'm saying just wanting a little bit more dimension here. It's tough with the compression, but you can drop out more of the the elements in the mix, and you can achieve it, right? So you don't need a huge amount of reverb on the elements in this moment. In fact, if you take away a bunch in some of them while leaving your kind of top end atmospheric channel, you're going to leave us feeling like the floor has fallen out and we're floating, right? Or we're in some form of like stasis or something. So there's going to be a lot less presence of something or some things. But as long as you're keeping the highest atmospheric element intact, we're kind of putty in your hands at this point. You've taken us up to this really extreme point, and then you're dropping out and kind of leaving us in this space. 207, super dope, super sick. This pushes against all of the expectations, and it's super wonderful. I think that the timbre of this moment is worthy of a bravo, and I think that going directly from this to this kind of fever peak energy moment is fantastic. Is fantastic. I do think that you need to back off some of the distortion of the lowest frequencies on some of these sounds, and that you need to do a little bit more volume mixing, like a little more prioritization of the most important sounds, and backing off volume wise of some of the others. And then also just being really real about the fact that, you know, this is all just one channel out at the end of the day. And there's kind of one unified low end. So whatever you can do to isolate the sub or the lowest frequencies in just one channel and not have anything else pushing against it in that big fever pitch moment. I think those are the things that get you to clarity the quickest and the easiest. This is a great track. This is a great track. Drop the elephants. Drop the elephants. Yes, and dropping the elephants idea. Definitely drop the elephants. Let's see. Trance in Your Pants saying, ooh, super tasty. Tomba saying that was awesome. Zendremic is here. Hey, Zen. How you doing, man? Happy Friday to you. It's always good to see you. Tomba saying, can you make the FX sort of swing to the next sample? Like a fourth swing or like a 5/6? Yeah, that would be dope too. I think that, you know, once you start thinking about your effects as something that you can manipulate as a single channel, as something that is, you know, as worthy of being processed as an ARP or a bass note or something. It makes you think differently about what you can actually do in some of these bigger transition moments. Yeah, be bold. Be bold. Rokusai says, pro tip for bass producers, make a side channel where you band split the low from the top end so you can affect all the low and end channels at the same time. This way, you don't need to compress as much in affecting transients, which you don't want. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I used to talk more about how to route your single instrument channel into your different auxiliary channels to achieve the things that you're wanting. And I kind of do this, but I kind of backed off of that for a bit. Maybe we've kind of gotten to this point with the Feedback Friday communities because we do kind of have these ebb and flow cycles with folks, right? I feel like the majority of people bringing music on a week-to-week basis, like consistently each week, y'all have had enough level ups that we could probably be talking about more parallel processing than we have been, because it really is a great way to affect things or accomplish things in a mix, is just splitting your signal in various ways. All right. And Rokusai is saying, and I'm talking about the whole track, not separate channels, so the whole song in 2 bands. Yeah, so you can tilt very easily. Yeah. Dan, welcome in. Happy Friday to you. I am doing all right. It's Feedback Friday, and that is the best day of the week around here. So it's great. We are about to make it to the weekend. We just have to make it through today. That's it, right? Some of you are already there. Some of you live in the future, so you're already on your weekend. Okay. I think that's all I got on this one. Tomba saying unmixed new drum and bass track. 145 onwards is basically very rough. I get that, and I'm working on a smooth transition for the break. I also understand that a lot of work is needed to make these vocals sound less garbage, but the idea is sort of there. I'm also aware that the synth is sort of out of time. Might make a video for my next submission to show you the LFO rates, etc. Okay. Word. Okay, this is Waste a Minute.
Once again, I'm breaking all the patterns. Learn my lesson. No, not all beginnings are the end. I got away from everything that I know, and I won't waste another minute. Once again, I'm breaking all the patterns. Learn my lesson. No, not all beginnings are the end. I got away from everything that I know, and I won't waste another minute.
The timbre's really interesting in this one. I kind of feel like you're attracted to these sounds, and they're great sounds, um, but almost like you're trying to find a way to have them work together in a couple of these spots, and it makes me wonder if this is just a byproduct of us getting more disclosure, right? Like us seeing a little bit more of a raw state uh, of your project and getting more insight to how you're working, or if this is a deviation from your norm. I'm quite interested to know. As I get to know your approach to all of this better over time, it helps me gauge what kind of growth and understanding and all of that is actually clicking. Um, I want the bass felt a little bit more. Felt it pretty much immediately at 17 seconds. I felt like we're kind of restricting the lowest frequencies from being present, but then also there is just a volume presence of the instrument itself in the mix that can come up just a bit. The hats feel quite a bit louder than everything else. As the mix grew over time, that balanced out, but volume levels can change over time. 48 seconds, piercing synth, a bit piercing. Playing a balancing act with it might be kind of cool, because following this synth through this arrangement it's nice. It kind of meanders, it does a couple of different things. It'd be cool if in that we heard the voicing being played with, and the detuning, and maybe LFO rates, distortion, playing with EQ, just kind of continuous manipulation of a sound. It's a fairly continuous sound, presence-wise in the mix, so just affecting it and allowing it to kind of constantly evolve over time might be a really interesting thing for the listener. And yeah, just to kind of reiterate this, the timbre of this track is really interesting. Corolla's saying, what I would do here is remove that vocal for time being and just mix everything without it. And then when you're happy with the instrumental, put the vocals back on. I would agree with that. I think that vocals, by and large, for me, are a mostly separate thing unless they are part of the sound design, which I do quite a bit. But yeah, I fully agree with that statement. Tumba saying, I hate that synth so much. I can't get the rate right to fit the tempo. Is it good or bad, timbre? I'm trying to experiment, but failing. I don't think you're failing. In fact, I think that what you've stumbled into here is interest. And I think that interest is sometimes unsettling or untidy or unclean, or when you start to have a problem is when it's unsurprising or unchanging. I think that's when the uns are having a problem or causing a problem. But I think that something like this, you can lean into it a bit more. Okay, so you've brought in an element, and yeah, the timbre is a little left to center. It's not what we're used to hearing. What else can you surprise us with? What else can you make us feel just a little bit uncomfortable, but also impressed by? Like when detuning goes just a little bit too far south, and then it comes right back into this really super pleasing position. Like it's just ultimately satisfying to have this course correction be found, and then to find this lovely little spot where it tucks in and makes sense and feels right. So, hearing that in real time in music is something that kind of forces the audience to kind of fall in line with you. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? So when I say timbre is interesting, it's not a good or a bad thing. It's interesting, right? And now what you do with that is good or bad, really. Like, I think any time that you can surprise people or push against their expectations, you have created a more engaged participant in your music. And I think that that is your job as a producer, is to change that person's role in this relationship, right? Change them from a passive listener to an active and engaged participant. And when they are trying to, um, you know, call what's coming next, and they're unable to, and they're very engaged in the music, they're going to listen to it again, and they're going to try and figure out how that worked, like what caught them up there. And that's how you get more plays, and that's how you get, more attention and appreciation from people in general, I think. Corolla's saying, I think it's distracting you from your instrumental. I think the track is very interesting too. Yeah. Tomba's saying, I think I need to fiddle around with some knobs for a few hours with this one, for sure. Yeah, knob turning is good. Nobody. This one is called At Peace with Myself. You know what? I'm going to switch browser on this one. It's because I'm afraid it's going to start playing ads if I don't. I can be logged in on this one. Wow. Nobody. There's a lot of small details in this. Since this is such a long one, I'm just going to bring down the volume a little bit and just kind of talk over the last bit of it for the feedback, so we can hear it in context. Okay, so I really like the vibe. I want more dimension and dynamic flux here. So more change over time in volume levels and more distance between sounds, so less compression and greater loudness, so I can hear how much space there is between things. And I can hear the flute reverberate in the open space that it's playing in. And right now, everything is happening at such a kind of a condensed snapshot of itself. We can't really crawl inside of it and feel like we're being surrounded by anything. We can only really observe it from the outside. So I want to be immersed. There are some lovely, tender, and heartfelt layers like the flute, but it's difficult to discern each element in the mix, as it feels a bit flat, like I said, and kind of squished together, like an ambience. So I personally want to hear the potential unlocked and more sounds disclosed. I like that something can be very ambient and that it can be, so minimal. Especially if it's being used in a project by someone else. But for simple listening pleasure, I think that allowing people to kind of step into this soundscape would be the most ideal version of it. A few small things that can help you push this to the next level. First would be long-form automation lanes. Get some simple modulation running on a few things. Volume is obviously the first one, but then filter position and saturation swells and time-based effects come next, right? And then once you do that, you start to recognize that there's timing at play here, right? Because when that flute does come up to solo, right? What happens to those string elements, right? Do they kind of back off, or like what's happening there? And then maybe there's something that kind of clues us into that change coming. Like maybe there's just a very gentle whoosh that happens, or maybe right after some change happens, there's a very subtle little sub impact, like a little oof, or something like that. But you start to have those ideas when you're hearing these details in a state that's actually affecting all of your senses. And right now, when we're observing it from kind of the outside in this kind of low velocity, kind of flat perspective, we're not going to have those ideas really trickle into our minds. 450, I think this moment is great. It feels like it can be so big and open, though, like we're in a big field at night, and there's some sort of like sacred ceremony or ritual or a private thing happening under the moon. All right, so the other thing I think that could really help this is stereo imaging. And I said that I could show you really quick how you can do that. You can take two tools like your compression or your limiter and your stereo imaging, which would allow you to break your sound up into bands and then widen those bands independently of one another. So in this scheme, you can see that I've, in a somewhat linear fashion, I've put the highest frequency sounds out furthest to the sides. I've pushed them out a bit from center, and then the mid-highs are kind of in from that just a little bit. And then those mid-lows are a little more closer to center, but they're still wider than they were in their original form. And then there is the bass, right? The low end. And then it depends on exactly what you're wanting from a track like this. But you might want it just a little bit wider than what its original position was. You don't have a whole lot of anything big happening in the low end, so you don't really have to worry too much about things booming down there and obfuscating or muddying up your track or anything like that. So I personally would affect the entirety of the track from a stereo imaging perspective as well. And that's after you've gone in and placed all of your sounds with a pan position and all of that. Have anything else for you? That's it. That's it for this one. That's what I got for you on this one. Emily, ruining things. Welcome in. Happy Friday to you. Corollas. Emily Rooney thinks says that was the most philosophical piece of feedback I've ever heard. Welcome to Feedback Fridays. That's how we do it here. Everybody gets heard, and we're pretty honest. Nobody Useful saying thanks for awesome as always feedback. You are welcome. And I would agree with Samsung, who's weighing in right now, saying that's a beautiful piece. That is a beautiful piece. That's true. It looks like if I do something like this, it might be easier to read some of those chat notes coming in on the screen for you guys, huh? Or if I just leave more of this document clear. I should do that. Hey, poke your eyes out. Welcome in. Happy Friday to you. Good to have you in the mix, homie. Nobody Useful saying, I will go to bed now. Waking up early tomorrow. Hope you all have a great Friday and weekend. Peace out. Peace out, brother. Have a good night. Rokusai says, I like the piece. It needs a bit of work, but the ingredients are there. Yeah, it's tasty. It's tasty. I really want that thing to open up and bloom and become a big, big thing. That's what I want. All right, I'm going to do a quick count here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm going to leave it open for another minute, and whoever wants to add something else to the feedback queue can. We are about to have ourselves a Visor Music moment. And it looks like, hey, look at this. This is another video upload. All right, so I'm going to listen to this here. Hold on just a second. We're going to let this thing catch up with itself. All right, let's try that again. There it is. Well played, Gazelle. Well played. Thank you so much, KDHD. I appreciate you, Chris. I hope you're doing well over there. From one Chris to another. Happy Friday. Okay, so I have notes. Uh, okay. First off, it's good to see your project like in real time. It's cool. It's good to see it. I need to have a better way of observing the video in full screen and typing out my stuff because it is a little distracting for me to be on two different screens. 45 seconds in. Low end can be a bit more beefy, a little less restrained here. I think go for impact. The atmosphere track, I think it was. I didn't get a timestamp on this. It was like around 1:30. You showed it had an EQ open, but there was a huge low end, and none of the low end was actually rolled off on that one. So I would go back and check that. 152 dialogue sample was pretty clouded. Try using some parallel processing to achieve greater clarity there. And then also, when you're using distortion, and you're trying to decide like what kind of distortion am I going to use on the sound, whatever. If it's affecting clarity to a great degree, you can always try either a filter, right, an EQ before or after the distortion is actually being applied, or you can double down and use a couple of different types of distortion, right, and each one affecting the sound a little bit differently. Rokusai was talking earlier. I was talking earlier about splitting a signal into a couple of different bands and then affecting those differently. Might be worth a shot on a couple of sounds in a track that's big like this, especially on a sound like those dialogue samples, because we're kind of losing the emotional impact of what that sample is bringing to the table. I'd bring that music box up a bit when it is soloing. I think it's great. The side ear candy feels a little buried and filtered. I mean, it is filtered, but it feels a little filtered. So I'm not sure that it's in the right resting position, that the cutoff parameter. It could be a floating spot. It doesn't have to be static, right? You could put a little LFO on there, or it could be reacting to something in the mix, right? It opens up a little bit each time that kick hits or something like that, right? You could think a little bit outside of the box about how you get some of those frequencies back into the mix, but I think getting some of them back in there might be kind of nice. Yeah, all in all, I think the big thing for me is reclaiming some of the clarity and the kind of dynamic headroom, if you will, because the more that you can clean up between each sound, the more each sound can be heard. I think that's the big thing here in this one. There's a really good energy and really good arrangement on this one. What you talk about, Willis? I appreciate you, KDHD. Yeah, which ear candy am I referencing? The one that stood out to me most was towards the end. This stuff here. Yeah. I think that's just the stuff that's on the very sides. Yeah, this really is a really good track. The other thing I would make mention of is the reverb. There are some spots where you could maybe make the decay of the reverb just slightly shorter. You could also EQ a little bit more aggressively, I think, after your EQ or after your reverbs, because you're restricting, especially of those lowest and mid-range frequencies. Each thing that you restrict back into or withhold from going back into the mix is one less thing that you have to worry about fixing or accounting for, right? So I think you can probably shave off a few extra frequencies here and there and here and there, and it'll make the whole thing a little tighter and more clear. And that'll just make it feel more powerful, right? And more impactful. Yeah. I really like the arrangement on the track too, Ricky. Yeah, I do. I think I'm pretty sure I mentioned that, but I think that it feels right, like all the way through. The only thing for me really is the clarity on this one, because that's what affects the impact and our ability to really appreciate the arrangement, which I think is great. I think this one's really solid. Electro Sound Engineer, welcome in and happy Friday to you. Oh, hey, did you guys see the new Blink Sonic stuff that was released this week? It's looking pretty cool. It's been doing so much more FFT stuff. We're going to start featuring all their stuff on the streams. Again, I used to use a fair number of their Reactor ensembles in streams on a pretty regular basis, and I kind of fell out of routine with them. But I really do love everything that they do, and their last couple of releases, shockingly colorful, shockingly. Samsung. Oh my goodness. Liv is here saying, my laptop been at the repair shop lately. Malfunctioning fans. Should be getting it back though. Had to ship the fans from China, so it's taking a while. Ugh, man. Samsung, orange ringtone. It is you. This is Jammin' Jammy. I'm going to go ahead and take this out of Discord really quick. All right. Here we go. Hey, this is 420. Woo! Ho, ho, ho.
Tell me all the
Oh my. Samsung? That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Happy Friday. You always make Fridays better. It's true. Music Fever Dude is now following. I appreciate you too. Happy Friday. Welcome in. I back off the limiting a bit. It's hitting kind of hard. Okay, so loudness aside, this is super vibey and vibrant. Vibe-y and vibrant. Stop correcting me, Siri. Piano can come down when not soloing. Bass can come down a few as well. Kick down and remove a few of the lowest frequencies from it, and then apply less reverb. The plosives from the kick on the sides are just a bit distracting, and they compete directly with the vocals, actually. So I would just keep it narrow and bring it way down. I don't think the kick needs to be aggressive or attention grabby or anything like that. It's just going to keep the pace. That's it. I want this clap to be more chunky, so I would feed it cookies and then double it up in the arrangement and offset them slightly so they are wide, thick, and begging for attention, and probably more cookies. I think the bass is super awesome. The bass line is like really, really groovy. I want like just a little bit more wah on it for added funk and groove. And I think that, you know, there could be like maybe just a little bit of secondary modulation on that, so it's affecting the range, like the cutoff range of frequencies. So over time, you're getting just slight variations on the delivery of the bass notes in that running bass line. This is really good energy, dude. Really good energy. Discord link is actually pinned in the chat currently, Music Fever Dude. You can find it right at the top. I am going to give you guys a couple of seconds, and if you have not posted by the time I get down there, the queue is going to be closed. Fuff! You are next. This is Corollas in the chat. Kyan! Happy Friday, brother. Happy Friday. All right. Here we go. Who we got? We got Corollas here. This one is called All You Need, and it looks like I've got video. So I'm going to go ahead and shrink this and take it over here, and I'm going to hit play. See what it sounds like.
The key to being successful is planting. You've got to plant. Now, when you plant seeds, young people, you can't expect a harvest in 30 days. The harvest don't come in 30 days. You got to plant your seed, and sometimes the harvest don't come for years. But the planting process can never stop. If I can tell anybody anything, keep planting seeds and never stop planting, because you have no idea when God gonna drop all the necessary rain and you look up and everything you need is right
That ended a little quicker than I was expecting. I'm still typing over here. All right. I love this track. I think the first thing to do is to get the dialogue up a little bit more. It's amazing how much emotion is affected by just general perceived loudness. And this dialogue, what's being said has impact. It carries a bit of weight with it. So get it up on top of the music. Right now it's sitting just under the music. So I get it up on top. Really good vibes all the way around. I don't hear anything wrong with the music. I don't hear anything wrong with the arrangement. I think your palette is good. I think that everything is in the right place. The one thing, there was a little misstep on the keys at 140. A couple of keys hit at the same time. Personally, I want to hear long form modulation on saturation on this one. So me personally, I would back off the loudness a little bit, and then I would arrive back at that same loudness, but through a series of saturation swells. And these things would be, each sound in the mix, is going to have its own unique saturation. It's going to feel really good, right? And the saturation that you pick for each one is going to be well aligned with the timbre and the character of that sound specifically. Now, you can warm up the entirety of the track too. So I think there's just more that you can do in general with saturation. And I'm not talking about like really dirty, nasty distortion or anything. I'm talking about like a warm, really lovely, fuzzy kind of thing. Put a sweater on your synths. That's what I'm saying. We're getting into autumn here, Ooh, hey, Rokusai is saying lovely sounds. Would love a bit more grit on them. Saturate the hell out of them. Get that excitement into the sound spectrum. Ha! Oh, yeah, Corolla saying, hey, it's one of those tracks that I made in one night and just had that flow. Yeah, anything that comes together super easy like that is always worth finishing. And yeah, like it's got great groove. I don't think there's anything that you need to go back and attend to in the actual arrangement. I think all of this is just mix. It's really good. Cayenne. Love it when you just got that flow, right? Cayenne. DJ Local Tweaker 420. Just some polish. Great work. Yeah, I agree. I agree, Roku. Absolutely. All right. This one be calling DJ Got Us Tweaking Again. Tweak Radio. I'm going to open this up out. Whoa, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Go back. Where are we going here? That just opened up the wrong one. Hey, there we go. Okay. All right. Here we go. This one's Cayenne. Let's go.
I am the one. Yes,
I got broads in the night. Never go out to for granted. You niggas pull up your bandit. You killers understand it. I got broads in the night. Choose to go in the family. Credit cards and the scammers. Hitting the links in the van. Legacy, family. Legacy, they like a bandit.
I'm in love with the coco. I'm in love with the coco. I'm in love with the coco. I'm in love with the coco.
With our bodies rocking from side to side, side to side. Thank God the week is done. I feel like a zombie gone back to life, back to life.
Wow, that was loud. Okay, so the low end on this one feels a bit flat and heavy. The kick, it wants a little grit. It's kind of disappeared in the mix down there a little bit, I think. So I think part of this is just low end control, like going through all of your tracks. Make sure that only like your kick and your actual sub layer are and your bass are the only things that are allowing any of those lower frequencies at all. And then also beyond that, taking a listen to each sound independently, and then like isolated, and then again in the greater context of the full mix, and just being really honest with yourself, like, is that getting swallowed up by the mix? Can I still hear that all the way? It sounds like the kick needs some saturation, and that the low end, it might be worthy of auditioning a different low end element on this one, actually. 53 seconds in, the synth pad in this spot wants some saturation from the 80s, I think. It feels just a little lackluster, like if it had a little more harmonic information in the mids and the highs, that it would feel a little more complete and like a little more upright in the mix. 110, these big hits are losing their impact, and it's due to the compression and the low end. So the extra low end sub frequencies that are running in there, you don't need them. Those hits are what should be supplying those big low end frequencies in those specific moments. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to hear them much at all. We'll hear the kind of mid range profile in their character, and that's about it. So I think that there's a couple of things happening here. One, I think that you can mix with more headroom, which will allow you a better chance at finding your loudness and your clarity simultaneously. But two, I think that you can batch process your mixes, so you can group your sounds together by intention or the role that they're playing in the music that you're making. And then you can process those guys together, and then you can bring those small groups of sounds together and mix those down as your final mix. What it sounds like to me is happening in some of these scenes that you've created is that the compression is kind of all encompassing. Something pops up in the mix, it's got big signal strength, compression is engaged, everything is being affected. And I think it's being affected to a pretty heavy degree. So there's a couple of things there too. Make sure that your threshold is not being set too low, right? That you're not engaging against your sounds too early, because compression is just volume automation, right? And if you're turning the sound down immediately, like too quickly, or the ratio is too high and you're reducing it by too much, then the sound's going to disappear in the mix. It's also possible that you're just not allowing enough time for some transients to get through in some of these sounds too. So a little bit more time spent on the dialing in of the compression. Try and leave yourself a little bit more loudness headroom, just general decibel level headroom before you go into mastering and trying to make this thing big. And I think that will allow you to open things up quite a bit. You'll be able to feel the dynamic range, the distance between sounds and stuff. Okay, so all that mixed stuff aside, I think that your the ideas in this one are pretty fun. I think they're pretty fun. And I think that I should probably shut the hell up and see what the chat is saying. I probably should. Hey, Less Than Perfect is here. I didn't even hear you guys come in. How was your stream? Happy Friday to you. Let's see. Andy Music, welcome in. Andy Music was saying, I was thinking it was going to be some DJs, got us falling in love again type song. Rokusai says, oh, this is for Carolus here. There's actually not much in the chat for this one. I just got caught up on the chat. So, Ooh, nice. Less than perfect. Glad you had a good stream. Did some music listening, getting ready for the 72-hour stream that starts tomorrow. What? Holy wow. Are you wearing diapers? Like, how does that work? 72 hours? Ah! Are we going to watch you sleep? How does this work? How does this work? Is there a tag team effort? Like, are you going to get tagged out at some point? Or, just hearing the 72 hours makes me, my goodness. Man, good luck. Man, seriously? Wow. Feeling of dread. This is Germicide. He's going South Park WoW on it. All right, here. Oh, I'm going to take this outside of Discord so I can see the times when I'm typing. All right, here we go. Heyo! Welcome in, Jeremy. Always good to have you in the mix, homie. All right, Jeremy, I think this one was really super solid. I want the string swells in the intro to sit above the kick, so I bring the kick down just a few. I don't think that the strings were in the wrong spot or anything like that. I think that maybe just the kick can just come down just a little bit. The bass is lovely. I love the texture on it, especially juxtaposed with that flute synth. I would actually take the flute synth off grid just a little bit, by adding some modulated delay echoes that are kind of subtle, and maybe the modulation that's on them is like on the tuning, so they're a little bit less stable, or maybe the modulation is introducing maybe a little bit of like wave shaping on the reverberated echoes, right? 157, the vocal there can be more washed out when it first comes in, like as it's an active vocalization agent, right? Rather than a singer at that point, like the lyrics are not there yet. It's just some hums and stuff. So I think maybe wash it out and then let it come into focus. I think that would feel really, really nice. Cowbell, I think, can actually be processed in some interesting ways. Having it sit there the way that it is in that one spot and unwavering the way that it is, kind of it's calling so much attention to itself. Yeah, I think it's the unwaveringness of it that makes it stick out a little bit too much. So I think I'd let it roam in the stereo spectrum just a little bit, and I would send it through something interesting, like Guitar Rig, which would allow you to maybe use some modulation alongside some saturation and some time-based effects in some interesting ways. Maybe get some filters moving in there at the same time. And then that way, as those very kind of straightforward cowbell hits occur, we're getting a slightly different version of them and a slightly different spot each time. So now, instead of this one thing that was just kind of starting to demand attention, it's this thing that we're actively trying to track, over time as a little side quest. So, for what it's worth. Rokusai. Rokusai being Rokusai saying, hey, Omlab, I kind of feel like I want to redo the whole mix and make very bold decisions here. All the sounds are very lovely, very 2010 feel to it. It has the bite, but I want the spice to have more nuances. Dude, maybe Jeremy should send you some stems. I mean, that's one way to know. That would certainly be one way to know. I would not mind hearing some of his stuff mixed by you. I would not mind that. Look at the baby Pika. Baby Pikachus. Okay, this next one is Rome. Let's see what you got up to this week. Why are we not playing? Why are we not playing? Let's try it down here. There we go.
Your day is already pretty full.
Hold on a second. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do ads. There we go. What is that art? Rokusai says. Okay, I ran out of time with my typing here. I will add a couple of thoughts to this typing though. Rome, I think you can be a little bit more creative about what you're singing about. Just to say it outright, right from the start. I think that if you're making music this well, then you can do better with the lyrics and connect with a larger audience that will come back to you over time for what you're trying to engage with them about. And I think that a song like this ends up being more of something that just kind of fades into the background pretty quickly. So for what it's worth, giving people a little bit more to chew on will mean they will listen to more of you over time. People making comments about the image, the getting personal with Pikachu has struck a chord with people. Okay, so I think that tighter EQing on every single one of the sounds in your project is a great place to start with improving the overall quality of the music. Your arrangement is good. Your sound selection is good. You've made a good song, but I think that we would be better off hearing more of it. So more EQing will make more room for each sound. It'll also allow you to kind of identify what each sound really is, like where is the center of each sound, and then you can then put them into its stereo position, each one into their stereo position, just a little bit easier. And then all of that is going to create a much more open and dimensional kind of mix, one that will feel like it's kind of wrapping around you as it plays. I'd bring the bass down just a bit, and tighten up its low end as well, just a little bit. It doesn't need to be quite as rumbly. Okay, and then the next thing is volume mixing. I do think that for the most part, you're pretty close on these static volume positions, but I also think that there are a couple of things that can just change over time. And it would make your music as it's progressing just a little bit more interesting. So there's a little bit more like short form versus long form modulation that you can do to introduce not necessarily more interest at any one time, but that you can kind of control our focus on your music a little bit more at any one time. So yeah, this is really just mix job now. This is really just getting in there. A lot of EQ, pan position, and volume. It's going to be the majority of it. Caballo! Jeremy saying that picture is utterly distracting. Rokusai, apologies, my drops are kicking in. All right, up next is Zin. Zindremic, it is you. This one is called Construct. Let's go here. Let's see what you made this week. right as I type the word roar. Syndremic. You have done it again, my friend. Fan-freaking-tastic. All right, so I'm hearing some awesome saturation swells on the bass and the ARP in my mind at this 48-second mark. Just imagine hearing the bass open up and say, roar! And like right as I'm typing that, it does that. That was amazing. All right, tighter EQ on the mix, rein in the highs and lows on most of the sounds, and then disclose what you took away in various ways, right? Some of those things can happen in short fashion, and some of those things would happen over a very long period of time, and maybe repetitively or something like that. But just getting that extra movement and the ebb and flow, the disclosure and the restraint, just a little bit more movement, would probably feel just fantastic and even more disorienting. 225, fantastic little avant-garde moment there. I really liked it. 3 minutes. The hi-hat tick is great. And I also want it to just roam around the stereo field. It doesn't need to be touched in any other way, I don't think. But just imagine it's like tick, 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 tick. You know what I mean? It's like kind of follow its own little path. I think that would be quite nice. And then just lastly, yes, yes, yes on the bass. I love how organic everything got there at the end and just how much freedom there was for it to explore its own resonant feedback swells like that. That was quite lovely. That was quite lovely. And I love that there's more of that creeping into your work. I really do. I really do. Rokusai saying, man, this really felt like a dungeon straight out of Hyperlight Drifter. Kirby Slice says, vibe switch and volume warning incoming, by the way. I'll bring the trampoline, Rokusai. Syndromic saying, amazing feedback as always. Big love, OMLab. Right back to you. Happy Friday, brother. Always good to hear what you were working on. Always good to know that you're staying inspired over there. Emily, it is you. It is you. Let's see what M made this week. Yeah, I like this profile picture, by the way. All right. It's really good. I really like the feel of this one all the way through, Emily. I think that there's a few things to put a light on. I think the creative use of the stereo field with the panning is fantastic. I think that how you've chosen to go about doing it and what you've applied it to in the mix is all incredibly tasteful. It's just showing a great deal of not just restraint, but there's just an understanding of what is functional and what is creative in a mix like this. I feel like that this is a fairly liberated and yet restrained mix. It feels lovely. Okay, so several different moments where there's just feels like just the perfect resting point for the level on the bass. There is this part of me that wants just a little bit of transitional support. Like there could be some very, very soft, cottony, filter down little whoosh suckbacks that are all cut off at just the point of transition, never with any real impact or anything, always understated. Kind of going back and forth on that internally in my head. Low end down just a touch. I would shelf from 75 hertz down and just take it down a few dB. 135 vocals up a touch, or perhaps just a little gentle bump around 800 to 1.2K in an EQ. The panning on the hats is nice. It's tastefully wide and interesting, but I would vary the velocity, the presence of the original hi-hat signal in there. I think your delays are fine. I think the levels there are good, but just a little bit more variety in the actual volume level of the hits themselves. That's it. Like, this is very, very little feedback on this one. I love it. Hey, Ricky, thank you. Always good to have you here, and thank you so much for the subs that you threw around today. I really appreciate it. Love your new song, homie. And yeah, birthday was last week. It was actually Tuesday, I think, last week, 16th. I'll see you on the other side, brother. I hope you have a great, great weekend. All right, let's see what people are saying in the chat here. Rokusai is liking this one. Lovely. Rokusai is saying, lovely piece of art, just some small mixing corrections, but this is really refreshing to hear. Andy Music saying, I think on the chorus hit, a slight mid-frequency distortion on the bass would be great, just to contrast the energy even more. Yeah. I feel that. Kirby saying, restraint, creative. These are unknown terms to a D&B producer. One note and loudly is the way to go. Emily, this was great. Keep bringing more, please. This is absolutely fantastic. Andy saying, a common EDM production trick is to modulate towards mono before chorus. I don't know if it fits here, but that also gives a good contrast. It's true. That's true. Thanks again, Ricky. And take care, brother. Have a good weekend. Caballo is here. Z4. Let's roll. Hey now. Okay, here's what I got for you. I think it's a vibe. I think there's some muddy box in the kick and the snare predominantly that needs to be cleared up. It's a little muddy. It's a little boxy. Guitar solo can use a little EQ to accent the mid-highs and then subtle saturation to finish. Just call out some extra harmonics, and I think that thing sits right up on top. And I do think that... and the vocal is great, by the way. I love how it just like swims all the way out of view there at one point. I do think that you need to bring the resonance down just a little bit as you filter down that far. And then also, I would consider maybe a different pole position, a different curve on that filter for that modulation down. My main beef, honestly, with the track is just the boxiness and the low-end mud. So I would keep the lo-fi profile because I really like it, but I would find more clarity down there. I think then that really just fires right out of the speakers quite well. Let's see what people are saying. Yeah, Jeremy is saying Ohm's chat is particularly a good place for this too. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Kirby Slice saying, very true. We're not about that. That's fire. Let's go next here. Yeah, we give every song a chance, right? Chase is here on Friday. Happy Friday, Chase. Saying, oh, snap, it's been a minute. Saw you were streaming and wanted to pop back in and give love. Is that an OhmLab server? I got to join that. Chase, I'm glad you found us again. I don't know how long you were away from us, but you found us, and that's good. Roku Sai says, good mentality to have. Demixing is treating it the same way as you would treat an instrument, rather than as a process to go through. You want to emphasize the expression like playing a guitar, or a guitar player would. Yeah, it's a good way of putting it. Kirby, what's an instrument? Nah, but I get what you're saying. I've been coming back from break this year, really trying to get back into it. Yeah, man. All right, Kirby, let's see what you cooked up this week. Caballo, that was great. That was tasty stuff. Kirby, this one's called Mantra. Let's go. Ooh, I'm going to take this out of Discord though. Look at the face in this art. It's like it's lurking. It's stalking us. All right, here we go. All right. Man. 144. I think the vocal needs to come up. I think it's super catchy. It's very sticky. And then as intensity builds, perhaps it becomes agitated, like a rapid tremolo affecting it, making it jitter or something. Like as the fever intensity grows in the music itself, that thing just starts to get shaken and agitated. Maybe by the end of the track, it's got an additional type of agitation, like an additional saturation on top of this jitter that has started to occur or something. Also, don't lose track of it because it starts to fall below. It needs to stay up on top of the track, up on top of everything. I'm losing the ability to speak coherently. It's getting late in the day. Yeah, that's what I got for you. And then also, it looks like Rokusai has a little thing here saying, watch the top end a bit of that main stab, Kirby. It might hurt a few ears on bigger sound systems. It seems to occupy the same range as the top end of your snare and kick. I would use a dynamic EQ just to make sure you don't lose too much of the timbre because that stab is cool. Andy Music also tossing in, I think on the Big Reese transition, you need to boost the high and make a hefty notch dip around 500 to 800 hertz. It's way muddy for big speakers. That's really good feedback. Kirby Slice saying, nice feedback. We'll try that, guys. Yeah, the vocal idea is good as well. Maybe to keep some movement in the track. Yeah. I feel like it's responsive to what is actually occurring, like what the people are actually listening to in that moment. You know, kind of help reflect what is churning on their insides, perhaps. All right, kitty cats, we have gone long as promised. Fridays are so good. We're going to be back at it in just a few days' time on Monday. It'll be a production stream, and we will do something awesome with it, I am sure. I'm absolutely positive of it. I don't know what it's going to be until we get there, though, and neither will you. So you got to show up to find out. I hope you have a good weekend. We're going to go visit Thug Shells right now and see what she's doing. It looks like she might be rapping in the woods. We're going to go find out together. Until then, stay inspired, and I'll see you guys on the flip. I appreciate you guys. Have a good weekend. Peace out.